All right, so you've inherited property, but unfortunately, you've inherited it with 3 other people. What do you do? Hi, my name is Brenton Begley. I'm an attorney and partner with McIntyre Elder Law. Let's talk about the complications that can arise from inheriting real property. So real property as an asset, typically, when it gets inherited, it's not something that can be divided among multiple people. Because let's face it, most people don't own property and land, and most people don't own multiple pieces of property. If you inherit multiple pieces of property along with loved ones, you might be able to do some horse trading, split things up, no big deal. If you inherit 100 acres, you and a couple family members inherit that, you can probably figure out a way to split up those 100 acres of property. But most people, they're inheriting a piece of real property, a home sitting on a lot, and got to figure out what to do with it. Now, inevitably, there's always that one family member that seems to immediately move in and start taking the benefit of that inheritance. And that's not necessarily fair for the other people who aren't living there, especially if they're chipping in on paying utilities, taxes, mortgage, things like that. So, a lot of estate plans just leave property to more than one person, and it doesn't give any sort of direction on what should happen with that. So if that's the case and you're in that situation, if you find yourself in that situation as having inherited a piece of property and you can't get everybody together to agree to sell the thing, because that's what you got to do, you got to get everybody to sign off on it, or if you're the one that wants to live there, get everybody to agree that you live in the property, then what can be done? Well, if it's something that can't be split up, then it's probably gonna have to be sold. And again, if you can't get everybody to agree to sell it, then what are your options? Well, you have the ability to partition property in North Carolina. If any one owner of property wants to either split the property, if it can be split, meaning it can actually be split up in the pieces, okay, and given to each owner, then that's one thing that can be done. Or the property can be sold and the proceeds split among the owners based on the shares that the owners have in that property. So if you find yourself having inherited property, you want to get it split up or sold, and you can't get everybody to agree, you have the right to partition that property, either force the property to be split up or force the sale of the property to get your proceeds. But you can avoid all this for your loved ones if you put the right type of estate plan in place. Ideally, you would have an estate plan if you're going to leave a piece of property to multiple people to direct that property be sold upon your death. So your executor or your trustee or whomever you pick as that fiduciary to handle your affairs after you've passed away can, have that property sold, and they can split the funds among the heirs so that there's no unfairness and that they immediately get the benefits from that. But what if it's an asset that you want to stay in the family? Well, you can have that asset in a trust. You could direct that asset stay in the family and set the parameters as to how to use it. For example, if someone wants to live in the property, they have to cover all of the expenses. Maybe they contribute to the other owners to help pay them. Maybe you give somebody a life estate in the property where they can live there for the rest of their life, and then it gets sold and split. There's lots of options that you have if you're trying to plan, but what you first need to do is sit down with an experienced attorney and figure out the best way to do it based on your assets and your family dynamic. So if you have questions about real property, how best to pass it, or if you find yourself in the situation where you own real property with other people, having inherited it and want to do something with it, give us a call, 704-259-7040, or visit our website, mcelderlaw.com, for your free consultation.